Greetings, MechWarriors. This is Blackhawk SC. In this video, I'm going to do something a little unusual, which is to dissect the problems on a mech that could have been better designed. Our victim today is the Cyclops CP-10-Z. I came across this idea of this video because I got somewhat frustrated while making builds for this variant. The Cyclopses in general aren't actually too bad, and most of them either have some fun value or are somewhat decent mechs, especially the hero variant, the Sleipnir. The 10Z unfortunately has neither anything unique about it, nor does it even have boring but good meta builds. That's not to say that the 10Z is completely trash. After all, it is a 90 tonner with a good number of hardpoints, so you should be able to contribute at least something with this mech. However, when I looked at this, I just see a lot of unfulfilled potential, and the goal of this video is to sort of turn my frustration into a way to guide you through how I build mechs. One of the first things that we have to look at are its hitboxes. The front view of the Cyclops can be a little deceiving. You might look at it and think that these are not too bad. You've got humanoid arms that can potentially shield. The torso hitboxes are pretty evenly spread out across the width of the mech. But when you turn the mech to its side, you can start seeing the problems. The ST and the CT are pretty much wide open from the sides. So if you're torso twisting, there's actually a really good chance that incoming fire will hit those STs instead of your arms. Now compare that with an Awesome, for example, which really isn't known to have very good shield arms. You can see that even the Awesome's arms cover more torso than the Cyclops's. This really implies two different things. First, brawling is going to suck on this mech, as good brawlers, especially heavies and assaults, depend on the ability to spread damage to unimportant components during combat. Second, it makes taking an XL engine very risky, which is too bad since the Cyclops can take up to an XL 400 engine. The STs have a 10-point structure buff, but it's really not that much given how large they are. Taking an XL isn't necessarily an automatic death sentence, and I've had some good games on this particular variant while carrying an XL. But overall, I feel that the offensive capabilities you get with the XL didn't justify sacrificing some of the defensive characteristics of this mech. Next, we can look at the hardpoints, and on the 10Z, we have 6 total energy hardpoints on the two arms. 1 ballistic on the right torso, 2 missile hardpoints, 1 on the CT and 1 on the left torso. Let's start with the missile hardpoints first, because I think that'll quickly eliminate some builds. So you only have 2, which pretty much rules out LRM boating. You can do some kind of hybrid LRM laser build, but I just don't think these kind of builds are very consistent in the public queue. So what about SRMs? Well, the AC-20 SRM combo can work well, even with just 2 SRMs. But here we see that one of the missile hardpoints is in the CT, so we can't do SRM-6s with Artemis, which is the only SRMs that sync well with the AC-20. This means we can only do SRM-4s or SRM-6s without Artemis. If you want to brawl with the AC-20 and SRMs, you really should attempt to sync the cooldowns together as much as possible to maximize the damage output while you're facing the enemy. With desynced AC-20 and SRM-4 cooldown times, if you want to maximize DPS, you have to stare at the enemy a lot more frequently, which is not what you really want to do. With SRM-6s, again, we can only take the non-Artemis version, which has a huge spread. If you've ever fired the SRM-6s without Artemis, the damage spread is so large that a lot of missiles will miss at around 200 meters. So you're having to get super close to have those SRM-6s work for you. For me, these factors rule out the AC-20 SRM brawling type builds, but if you want to try it, this is probably the best you can do. I'm also really confused by the AC-20 velocity quirk on this mech. Velocity would be nice if you're engaging past 300 meters or so, but for brawling, it's mostly useless. This mech does have 6 energy plus a ballistic, which leads to some options. Now, if the energy hardpoints were high mounted, we can definitely try more of a ridge peaking playstyle like the Battle Masters. But since the energy hardpoints are all low mounted and spread out across the mech, they can really only be used for brawling or for corner peaks. Let's look at an energy ballistic brawler for a moment. You can see that this is kind of like a mini Atlas Boar's Head build, but without all the tankiness of the Atlas. Not only that, heavy and assault energy ballistic brawl isn't a very strong playstyle nowadays, mostly due to the fact that they don't have the sustained DPS to take down a properly piloted enemy assault or heavy mech. If the enemy is capable of spreading the damage on 1 or 2 of your shots, you'll end up having to spend a lot of time trying to take him down because of that heat cap. This is less of a problem for ballistic SRM brawlers. When you start reaching your heat cap and your DPS goes down, you'll start taking too much return damage, and it also gives his team a lot of time to come and help. Now, energy brawling is a lot better on faster mechs, like the Stormcrow, since they can get out quickly to cool off. On heavies and assaults, however, there are too many limitations in my opinion. You can sort of corner peek with the short-range lasers in AC-20 as well, and here's where the AC-20 velocity can be useful. But you're exposing the entire width of your mech, and with the 4 or 5 seconds that it takes for you to get back to cover, you're potentially taking a lot of return fire as well. So with 6 energy hardpoints, what about a laser vomit or LPL build? I think in either case it's not very ideal either, as you need to expose the entire mech to dish out that damage. Having no range quirks limits what positions you can safely engage from, and no heat gen quirks means you can't maximize the opportunities where you can get free damage. So after looking at the hitboxes, hardpoint locations, and quirks, I feel that the asymmetric right side corner peekers end up being the best types of builds for the 10Z. First, we avoid having to brawl, which is currently not as meta-friendly as it used to be, and is also hampered by the Cyclops' inability to shield its torsos. Next, you have to expose less of your mech, and as long as you're not carrying an XL engine, the large STs aren't as much of an issue. Lastly, I feel these builds I'm going to show are less dependent on quirks than the playstyles I mentioned earlier. First, PPC Gauze. I looked at this and really it has the firepower of an IS 70 tonner, so I decided against it, especially without PPC velocity quirks. This is also the same problem I saw with the triple large laser Gauss builds. Here's an AC-20 triple LPL build. Not that bad, but my main problem here again is the range desync. With the AC-20 we have that velocity quirk which should make it better past 300 meters. But since we want to take advanced seismic, radar deprivation, AC-20 cooldown and LPL range, this leaves no room for an AC-20 range module. This is going to hurt damage output beyond 270 meters, which is painful. Sacrificing either LPL range or AC-20 cooldown or a mech module is equally as bad. If they added the AC-20 range quirk, I think the build would feel a lot more natural. Finally, we arrived at the build that I'm currently running on 10Z, which is the triple LPL Gauss build. This subtly takes the mech out of broad range and into the low, mid, and mid range, and actually carries assault level firepower that you can't do on a Warhammer or Cataphract without sacrificing a lot of heatsinks. The Gauss helps us maintain good DPS, which is important when we don't have any energy heat gen quirks. Since we're firing off low duration alphas with the LPLs and twisting afterwards, the ST Gauss rifle isn't as much of a problem as it could be on similar builds like large laser or ER large laser Gauss. What does hold this build back is that the 400 meter optimal range is still lower than I would like in today's public queue, and it's really slow, but it's either that or having to take an XL engine. I'd also like a Gauss cooldown or generic ballistic cooldown quirk instead of the AC-20 specific quirks, but we don't have it either. In summary, this is a mech that could have had a lot of potential, but everything it could do is held back by something. Brawler and close range striker roles are hurt by hitboxes, bad quirks, and weak hardpoints. Range play is hurt by a lack of quirks and hardpoint locations. If it had a normal 10% energy range, heat gen, or generic ballistic ranger and cooldown quirks, or if it had smaller side torsos or bigger arms, or different hardpoint locations, I can see so many builds that are made much better. And that's the thing that really bothers me about the mech. Again, it's not because the mech is horrible, but I just think there's so much lost potential. Okay, let's end this video with a gameplay demo of the 10Z Gauss LPL build. I hope you enjoyed this video and please subscribe for more strategy guides and mech showcases.
Weapons online. All systems nominal. Target acquired. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target acquired. Airstrike online. New target acquired.
Several under.
New target
Active
acquired.
direwolf.
New target acquired. New target acquired.
Bots under, several.
Target acquired. New 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 target acquired. Target destroyed. New target acquired. Target destroyed. New target acquired. Target destroyed. New target acquired. New target acquired. Airstrike online. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target destroyed. Airstrike online. Target acquired. New target acquired. New target acquired. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target acquired. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target destroyed. New target acquired. Target acquired. New target acquired. Target destroyed.
Good job, team. Well played.